The year was 2087, and humanity had spread throughout the solar system. Mars now held 3 major cities, and mining operations dotted the asteroid belt. Yet despite all this progress, humans had not ventured beyond their home system. The stars remained distant lights, their secrets still unknown. Captain John Martinez stood on the bridge of the UEN Defiant, Earth's newest and most advanced warship. At 42 years old, Martinez had spent half his life in space. His dark hair showed touches of gray at the temples, and lines had formed around his eyes from years of making hard decisions. "Status report," Martinez said, his voice calm but firm. Lieutenant Kate Wilson, his second-in-command, looked up from her console. "All systems normal, Captain. We're maintaining orbit at 300 kilometers above Earth. Engine tests complete with green results across the board." Martinez nodded. The Defiant represented the best of human engineering, a vessel built not just for exploration, but for survival in a potentially hostile universe. Its hull was reinforced with layers of titanium alloy and carbon composites. Point defense turrets lined its sides, ready to shoot down incoming threats. Missile bays sat loaded beneath armored hatches. The ship carried enough firepower to level a small continent. "Begin the patrol route," Martinez ordered. "Standard sweep of the outer system boundary." "Yes, sir," Wilson responded, sending the commands to navigation. The Defiant was 3 days into its patrol when everything changed. Alarms blared across the bridge. Lieutenant Paul Baker at the sensor station straightened in his chair. "Captain, massive energy signature detected near Neptune's orbit. Something big just entered the system. Battle stations," Martinez ordered immediately. Throughout the ship, crew members rushed to their posts. Weapon systems powered up, shields raised to maximum. Baker's eyes widened at his readouts. "Sir, the object is... it's enormous. At least 3 kilometers in length, moving at 1/10 light speed but decelerating rapidly." Martinez gripped the arms of his command chair. "Projected course?" "It's heading directly for Earth, sir." For the next 6 hours, the bridge crew watched as the massive object slowed its approach. As it passed Jupiter, they finally got clear visual images. The alien vessel resembled nothing made by human hands. It had a smooth, curved shape that reminded Martinez of a whale, with no visible weapons or engines. Strange patterns of light pulsed along its hull in rhythmic sequences. "Are we receiving any transmissions?" Martinez asked. "Communications officer," Lisa Reyes nodded. "Yes, sir. They're broadcasting on multiple frequencies. The computer is working to decode it, but... wait." She pressed her hand to her earpiece, brow furrowed in concentration. "Sir, they're speaking English and Mandarin and Russian, every major Earth language." "Put it through." A melodic voice filled the bridge. "Greetings, people of Earth. We come in peace as representatives of the Galactic Council, a union of 17 spacefaring species. We wish to establish diplomatic relations with your world." The bridge fell silent. After centuries of wondering, humanity finally had its answer. They were not alone. "Send word to command," Martinez ordered, "and prepare a response." Within hours, the United Earth government had assembled an emergency meeting. The decision was made. The Defiant would approach the alien vessel as Earth's representative until proper diplomatic personnel could be dispatched. "This is what we trained for," Martinez told his crew as they set course to intercept the massive ship. "First contact protocol. We show strength without aggression." As they approached, more details of the alien vessel became visible. Its hull shimmered with an iridescent material unlike any metal. No weapons could be seen anywhere on its surface. Instead, large transparent sections revealed gardens and what appeared to be open plazas inside. "They've invited us to dock," Reyes reported. "They're sending coordinates for an external docking port." Martinez nodded. "Take us in, but maintain defensive readiness. Lieutenant Baker, keep weapons hot but not targeted. Standard first contact procedures." The docking was smooth. The alien technology perfectly compatible with human systems despite never having encountered them before. Martinez selected a small team to join him: Lieutenant Wilson, Dr. Amy Chen, the ship's science officer, and 2 security personnel. "Remember," Martinez told them as they prepared to enter the alien vessel. "We represent all of humanity now." The airlock cycled open to reveal a wide corridor with walls that seemed to shift colors subtly. The gravity felt Earth normal, and the air, according to their suit's sensors, was breathable. 3 beings waited for them. They stood upright on 2 legs but were clearly not human. Their skin had a bluish tint with no hair visible on their elongated heads. Large, multifaceted eyes regarded the humans with what Martinez thought might be curiosity. They wore flowing garments with intricate patterns that seemed to move on their own. The tallest of the aliens stepped forward. "I am Ambassador Ziktal of the Andromeda, speaking on behalf of the Galactic Council. Welcome aboard the Harmony of Stars." The words came from a small device at the alien's throat, translating perfectly into English. Martinez stepped forward as well. "Captain John Martinez of the United Earth Navy vessel Defiant. We are honored to make your acquaintance." Behind Ziktal, the other 2 aliens were consulting small devices in their hands, occasionally glancing up at the humans with expressions Martinez couldn't interpret. "Your vessel," one of them said suddenly. "It contains numerous weapon systems and heavy armor." Martinez nodded carefully. "The Defiant is a warship designed for exploration and defense." The aliens exchanged glances. "Defense against what threats?" asked Ziktal. "Our scans show no other spacefaring civilizations in this region. We built it as a precaution," Martinez explained. "Humanity has long wondered if we were alone in the universe. We hoped for peaceful contact, but prepared for all possibilities." The second alien leaned toward Ziktal and spoke quietly, but the translation device picked it up anyway. "This is their diplomatic vessel?" "No," Ziktal replied, looking at the data on his device with an expression Martinez now recognized as concern. "According to their transmissions, this is what humans call a warship." The third alien made a sound that might have been a gasp. "But it has enough firepower to destroy a small moon." Martinez felt a sudden tension in the air. He kept his posture relaxed but noticed his security team shifting slightly, hands near their weapons. "Perhaps," Ziktal said carefully, "we should discuss this further in more comfortable surroundings. Captain Martinez, would you and your crew join us for what you would call a diplomatic dinner? There is much our peoples can learn from each other." As they followed the aliens deeper into their ship, Martinez caught Lieutenant Wilson's eye. She gave a small nod, confirming she'd noticed the same thing he had. These advanced aliens, capable of traveling between stars with technology far beyond Earth's, seemed genuinely shocked by the Defiant's military capabilities, and that, Martinez thought, might be the most important discovery of all. Humanity had finally reached the stars, only to find that their neighbors might be less prepared for the harshness of the universe than they were. The dining chamber aboard the Harmony of Stars amazed the human crew. The ceiling looked like the night sky, showing stars and galaxies that Martinez did not recognize. The table was a single piece of material that glowed softly from within. Plants with blue and purple leaves grew from built-in sections of the floor. "Please be seated," Ambassador Ziktal said, gesturing to chairs that formed from the floor as he spoke. Martinez sat down carefully, still watching everything around him. Dr. Amy Chen could not hide her excitement. Her eyes moved quickly from one alien thing to another. The security officers, Sergeant Frank Nelson and Corporal Dana Lewis, remained standing behind the seated officers. "Your guards may also sit," said Ziktal. "There are no threats here." "Thank you for your offer," Martinez replied politely, "but they will remain standing. It is our protocol." The aliens shared looks again. One of them, who had been introduced as Science Minister Velnoth, spoke up. "Your species seems very concerned with safety and threats, Captain." Martinez considered his words carefully. "Humanity has faced many challenges throughout our history. We learned to prepare for difficulties rather than hope they won't happen." "Fascinating," said Velnoth. "Most species in the Council evolved beyond such concerns thousands of years ago." Food appeared on the table, rising up from hidden sections. Some dishes were clearly meant for the aliens, strange fruits and what looked like blue crystals. Other plates contained foods that looked almost like Earth dishes. "We created these based on your biological scans," explained the third alien, Cultural Officer Prendor. "They should be safe and pleasant for humans to eat." Lieutenant Wilson used her scanner to check the food. She nodded to Martinez. "All clear, sir." The meal continued with polite conversation. The aliens explained more about the Galactic Council, 17 species from different star systems who had joined together over 10,000 years ago. They had rules for trade, territory, and how to welcome new civilizations. "We have watched your development for some time," said Ziktal. "Your rapid technological growth is unusual. Most species take thousands of years to progress from basic tools to space travel. Humans did it in less than 5,000. "We've always been driven to explore and improve," Martinez said. "And to fight," added Velnoth, who seemed most interested, "in human history. Our records show that your planet has rarely been free from conflict." Martinez didn't deny it. "True. But war has also pushed our technology forward. Many of our greatest advances came from trying to solve problems during difficult times." Prendor leaned forward. "May I ask a question about your ship, Captain?" "Of course. Why does a vessel of exploration need so many weapons? Our scans showed multiple missile systems, energy weapons, and point defense arrays. The armor on your hull could withstand impacts that would destroy any Council ship." The dining room grew quiet. Martinez felt all eyes on him. "Space is unknown territory," he explained. "The Defiant was built to handle anything it might encounter. We hope for peace but prepare for danger. It's how we've survived." "But against what enemy?" asked Velnoth. "There are no hostile spacefaring species in this part of the galaxy." Martinez smiled slightly. "Until today we didn't know there were any spacefaring species at all. Building the Defiant was our insurance against the unknown." The meeting ended with an invitation. The Galactic Council wanted Earth to send representatives to attend a council session as observers. This was the first step toward possible membership. 2 weeks later, after much discussion among Earth's leaders, the mission was approved. The Defiant would transport a small diplomatic team led by Dr. Elizabeth Reeves, Earth's leading expert in international relations. Captain Martinez and his crew would provide security and represent the military perspective. The day before departure, Martinez met with Admiral Susan Clark at Earth Command headquarters. "This mission could change everything for humanity, Admiral," Clark said, looking out the window at the blue Earth below. "But we still know very little about these aliens or their council." "They seem peaceful, Admiral," Martinez replied. "Perhaps too peaceful. Their ships have almost no defensive capabilities. Their science minister asked me why we needed weapons in space." Clark nodded slowly. "That concerns me. Species that haven't faced serious threats often don't understand. Those who have. You'll need to watch carefully, John. See what they're not telling us." "Yes, ma'am. And remember, the Defiant is the only Earth ship out there. You'll be on your own if things go wrong." The journey to Nexus Prime, the Galactic Council's central world, would take 3 weeks. The alien ships could travel faster, but the Defiant could only safely reach certain speeds with its current engine technology. During the journey, Dr. Reeves and her team of 5 diplomats spent hours learning about Council culture and politics. They met daily with Ambassador Ziktal, who had remained aboard to guide them. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Kate Wilson led efforts to understand alien technology. The Council had shared information about star maps, common trade goods, and basic cultural practices, but little about their weapons or defenses. "That's because they barely have any," Lieutenant Paul Baker reported after analyzing sensor data from their brief visit to the alien ship. "Their hull is barely thicker than a civilian freight hauler. A single missile from our smallest launcher could cripple their entire vessel." On the 10th day of their journey, they passed through what Ziktal called common space, areas between star systems where ships from many worlds traveled. For the first time, the humans saw vessels from other Council species. The ships varied in size and shape, but all shared the same lack of visible weapons or heavy armor. Dr. Chen spent hours in the observation deck, recording everything. "It's amazing," she told Martinez. Look at the diversity of designs. Each species seems to build ships that reflect their homeworld environments. Martinez noticed something else. Yes, but none of them are built for war. On the bridge, Lieutenant Wilson brought up a disturbing observation. Sir, we've tracked 53 alien vessels today. Every single one changed course to keep extra distance from the Defiant. Martinez frowned. They're afraid of us. It appears so, sir. Late that night, Martinez found Ambassador Zichtal in the ship's lounge area, looking at the stars. Ambassador, may I ask you something? Martinez said. Of course, Captain. The other ships today, they avoided us. Why? Zichtal's large eyes blinked slowly. Your ship frightens them, Captain. The Council has not seen a true warship in over 2,000 years. Most young Council citizens have never seen weapons like yours outside of historical records. Then how does the Council defend itself? Martinez asked. From what? Zichtal replied simply. The last hostile species we encountered joined the Council 1,500 years ago. We have no enemies. Martinez thought about this as he returned to his quarters. A galaxy without war seemed impossible based on human history. Either the Council was hiding something, or humanity was about to enter a much different universe than they had imagined. The Defiant dropped out of faster-than-light travel near Nexus Prime. The view on the main screen left the bridge crew speechless. The planet glowed blue and green like Earth, but with purple continents instead of brown. 7 moons orbited the world. Around the planet, thousands of ships and stations formed a busy network. Incredible, whispered Dr. Chen. There must be more ships here than humanity has built in our entire history. Martinez studied the orbital structures with a frown. Lieutenant Baker, scan those stations. Baker worked his console for several minutes. Sir, I'm not seeing any defensive systems. No weapon emplacements, minimal shields. Those stations are completely exposed. What about their military fleet? Asked Martinez. I count about 200 ships that might be military, based on their movement patterns, Baker replied. But their design is nearly identical to the civilian ships, just slightly faster engines. Ambassador Zichtal entered the bridge. Captain, we have received clearance for you to approach. The Council is eager to welcome Earth's representatives. As they moved closer to the planet, Martinez could not shake his unease. Everything he saw violated basic space security principles. The stations had no protection. The ships flew in predictable patterns. The entire system was vulnerable to attack. It's like they never conceived that someone might want to destroy them. Lieutenant Wilson said quietly beside him. Or they defeated all possible threats long ago, Martinez suggested. Wilson shook her head. No military commander would leave their homeworld this exposed, no matter how long the peace lasted. The Defiant docked at the main Council station, a massive ring structure orbiting Nexus Prime. The human diplomatic team, led by Dr. Reeves, prepared for their first official meeting. Martinez selected a small security detail to accompany them. Remember, he told Sergeant Nelson and his team, we want to make a good impression. Full-dress uniforms, visible sidearms, but safety's on. Dr. Reeves frowned at this. Captain, is the armed escort really necessary? It might send the wrong message. With respect, Doctor, we don't fully know what we're walking into. Standard protocol applies until we're certain of the situation. The Council station's interior was even more impressive than the harmony of stars. The ceiling soared hundreds of feet high. Plants and water features created natural spaces throughout. Beings of various shapes, sizes, and colors moved about their business. Their guide was a tall, insect-like being named Shinta, from a species called the Procyon. The Grand Chamber is just ahead. All 17 Council species have representatives present for this historic meeting. The Grand Chamber could hold thousands. The walls displayed moving images of different worlds. In the center, a circular platform held 17 ornate chairs arranged in a ring. Behind them were seats for hundreds of advisors and staff. The Earth. Delegation was given a special viewing area near the main floor. Dr. Reeves and her team took their places in front. Martinez and his security detail stood at the back, watching everything. Look at their security. Nelson whispered to Martinez. Or rather, the lack of it. Martinez had noticed. The few guards present carried only small devices that might be weapons or might be communication tools. None wore armor or protective gear. The entire chamber was open, with multiple entrances and no checkpoints. The council session began with ceremonies to welcome the humans. Each species representative spoke briefly. Some looked almost human. Others were completely alien. Floating gas clouds contained in energy fields, crystalline beings that glittered under the lights, creatures with too many limbs or eyes. The council leader, a tall being with golden skin named Danar, addressed the humans directly. Earth joins us at an auspicious time. For 10,000 years, the Council has maintained peace among the stars. We hope humanity will add its unique perspective to our community. Dr. Reeves stood to respond with a carefully prepared speech about cooperation and friendship. Martinez watched the Council members, noticing how they studied the humans with curious eyes. Then everything changed. A Council aide rushed into the chamber, moving straight to Danar. They spoke quietly but urgently. The council leader's golden skin seemed to pale. Danar raised a hand, and the chamber fell silent. I must interrupt these proceedings with grave news. We have received word that the outer colony of Proxima Secundus has gone silent. All communication ceased 12 hours ago. Murmurs spread through the chamber. Martinez saw fear in many alien faces. The colony of Terrius Major has also stopped responding. Danar continued. The last message reported unknown ships entering their system. The murmurs grew louder. Some council members stood from their seats, speaking urgently to their aides. What's happening? Dr. Reeves asked, turning to Ambassador Zichtal. The ambassador's blue skin had darkened with what Martinez now recognized as their version of fear. This is most unusual. Colonies do not simply go silent. Danar raised his voice over the growing noise. We have also received a transmission. I will play it now. A large screen appeared above the council circle. Static filled it momentarily, then cleared to show a being unlike any Martinez had seen before. It had gray skin with black markings. Its eyes were solid white with no pupils. When it spoke, it revealed rows of sharp teeth. Council worlds, hear us. We are the Vexcar. You have expanded into territories we marked for future use. This is unacceptable. Your colonies have been removed. This is your only warning. Withdraw from the outer systems or we will remove more. The transmission ended. The council chamber erupted in panic. Who are they? Martinez asked Ambassador Zichtal, who stood frozen beside them. The Vexcar, Zichtal whispered. We encountered them. Twice before, centuries ago. They claimed territory on the edge of known space but never showed hostility. We thought they had moved on or died out. Council leader Danar called for order, but fear had taken hold. Representatives shouted questions and demands. Some were already leaving, rushing to contact their homeworlds. Dr. Reeves looked at Martinez. Captain, what does removed mean in this context? Before he could answer, a new message appeared on the screen. It showed orbital images of two planets. Both had been attacked. Fires burned across their surfaces. Destruction was visible even from space. Estimated casualties? Martinez asked quietly. Proxima Secundus had 8 million inhabitants. Zichtal replied, his voice shaking. Terrius Major had 12 million. 20 million lives gone. Martinez felt cold anger building inside him. He'd seen enough. Lieutenant Wilson, he said into his communicator, prepare the Defiant for possible combat operations. Run full diagnostics on all weapon systems. Yes, sir, came the immediate reply. Dr. Reeves stared at him. Captain, we're here as observers. We can't get involved in an alien conflict. Martinez met her gaze steadily. Doctor, we're witnessing the start of a war against people who don't remember how to fight one. Our mission was to observe and report on the Galactic Council. Right now, we're observing that they're under attack and completely unprepared to defend themselves. As if to prove his point, Council Leader Danar was calling for an emergency evacuation of Nexus Prime, not a defense. An evacuation. Martinez watched the panic spread through the chamber and made his decision. Sergeant Nelson, escort the diplomatic team back to the Defiant. I need to speak with the council leader. Council leader Dinar sat with 6 senior council members in an emergency meeting room. Their faces showed fear and confusion. When Martinez entered with Ambassador Zigtal, the room went quiet. This is Captain Martinez of Earth, Zigtal introduced. He has offered to assist us. How can one ship help against this threat? Asked a reptilian council member. The Vexcar fleet destroyed 2 colony worlds in hours. Martinez stepped forward. My ship alone cannot stop them, but human military knowledge might help. Your people have forgotten war, but mine remembers it too well. Dinar's golden face showed doubt. Captain, we appreciate your offer, but the council has already begun evacuation procedures. Our simulation models show a 99% chance that the Vexcar will reach Nexus Prime within 2 months. And then what? Martinez asked. You run to another world, and they follow? How long before you run out of places to hide? The Dao. Council members looked at each other. No one had an answer. Show me your defense fleet, Martinez said. Minutes later, they stood in the council's military command center. The room was small and rarely used. On the main screen, dots represented the council's defense ships, about 200 spread across their territory. These ships have minimal weapons, explained Fleet Commander Jor-El, an older alien with silver skin. They were built to handle pirates or small conflicts, nothing like this. Martinez studied the display. What about your civilian ships? How many can be converted for defense? Converted? Jor-El seemed confused by the concept. These are passenger and cargo vessels. They have no weapon systems. Any ship can be a weapon if used correctly, Martinez said. What about your industrial equipment? Mining lasers, construction tools, heavy machinery? The council members looked at him with growing understanding. We have thousands of mining vessels with high-powered lasers, said a female council member. They cut through asteroids to extract minerals. Construction ships have powerful tractor beams, added another. They move station modules weighing thousands of tons. Martinez nodded. Good. Now we need to know what we're facing. Do you have any data on the Vexcar ships? Commander Jor-El brought up grainy images. The Vexcar vessels were angular and dark, with pointed extensions that looked like claws. Their ships appear to use energy weapons here, Martinez pointed. And these look like missile launch tubes. What about their defenses? Unknown, Jor-El admitted. Our previous encounters were peaceful. We never scanned their military capabilities. Martinez tapped his communicator. Lieutenant Baker, I need you in the Council Command Center. Bring portable sensor equipment. While waiting, Martinez turned to Fleet Commander Jor-El. Where are your shipyards? How quickly can you modify vessels? We have major construction facilities orbiting 3 worlds, Jor-El replied. They normally build or repair about 50 ships per month. Not fast enough, Martinez muttered. We need to work with what we have. Baker arrived with sensor equipment and began analyzing the Vexcar ship images. Dr. Reeves accompanied him, looking unhappy. Captain, a word? She asked, pulling Martinez aside. What exactly are you doing? Trying to help them survive, Martinez replied. This goes beyond our mission parameters, Reeves argued. We were sent to observe, not to get involved in an alien war. Martinez looked at her steadily. Doctor, these people have no concept of defense. If we do nothing, millions more will die. Would you have me stand by and watch? Reeves didn't have an answer for that. Baker called Martinez over. Sir, I've analyzed what we can see of their ships. They're heavily armed but not particularly advanced. Their weapons appear to be similar to what humanity developed 50 years ago. They rely on brute force rather than sophisticated targeting. Good work, Baker, Martinez said. That gives us something to work with. Martinez spent the next 3 days in constant meetings with council leaders. They moved the Defiant to a secure dock where it couldn't be easily observed by the general population. Most council citizens still didn't understand the gravity of the situation. On the 4th day, Lieutenant Nicole Washington, the Defiant's engineering officer, presented her findings to the Council's emergency committee. Your mining lasers can be reconfigured into defensive weapons, she explained, showing diagrams on a screen. They won't be as effective as military-grade weapons, but in sufficient numbers, they could provide a defensive screen. The Council engineers looked skeptical but interested. We've never used such technology for harm, one said. You're not using it for harm, Washington replied firmly. You're using it for protection. In another part of the station, Lieutenant Sam Foster worked with Jor-El's staff, showing them how to organize ships into defensive formations. Your vessels need to protect each other, Foster explained. No ship fights alone. Create overlapping fields of fire so that any attacker must face multiple defenders. The Council military officers struggled with these concepts. They had trained for search and rescue, for transport security, for police actions, never for full-scale battle. Martinez met daily with Danar and the senior Council leadership. As news of more colony attacks reached them, the Council's resistance to military action faded. How did your species learn to think this way? Danar asked Martinez one evening, looking tired, to see everything as a potential weapon or defense. Necessity, Martinez answered honestly. Earth's history is full of conflicts. We learned that peace often depends on strength. The strong who show restraint create lasting peace. The weak who cannot defend themselves invite aggression. Reports from the outer systems grew worse. The Vexcar fleet numbered in the thousands. They showed no interest in communication or negotiation. They simply destroyed anything in their path. Martinez called his senior officers together in a secure room aboard the Defiant. The situation is worse than we thought, he told them. The Vexcar will reach Nexus Prime in 6 weeks, not 2 months. The Council's evacuation plans will only save about 60% of the population. Can we request reinforcements from Earth? Asked Wilson. Martinez shook his head. The message would take 3 weeks to reach home, and any ships would take another month to get here. We're on our own. Sir, Foster said, I've been studying the data on Council ships. Their engines are incredibly powerful, designed for efficient long-distance travel. If we could somehow redirect that energy. What are you suggesting, Lieutenant? Foster's eyes lit up with an idea. Their engines put out 10 times the energy of our own. If pointed at an enemy vessel, that kind of energy discharge could be devastating. Martinez considered this. You want to turn their engines into weapons? Yes, sir. It would require significant modifications, but we have the technical knowledge. Their engineers can implement our designs. Get to work on it, Martinez ordered. And keep it quiet for now. The Council is still adjusting to the idea of fighting back at all. As the officers left, Dr. Chen stayed behind. Captain, I've been studying Council records. I found something interesting about the Vexcar. Go on. 200 years ago, they claimed territory in what they called their expansion zone. The Council didn't contest it because the area had no habitable planets. But 50 years ago, the Council discovered terraforming techniques that could make those worlds livable. Martinez frowned. So they started settling worlds the Vexcar considered theirs. Exactly, Chen nodded. The Council didn't even remember the old agreement. To them, it was ancient history. That explains the motivation, Martinez said. But not the brutality. No territorial dispute justifies killing millions. When Martinez returned to the Council chamber that evening, he found Danar looking at images of planets. Not the destroyed colonies, but beautiful, pristine worlds deeper in Council space. Our garden worlds, Danar said without looking up. Thousands of years of peaceful development, billions of innocent lives. He finally turned to Martinez. Your way of thinking, your human concepts of warfare, they frighten many of my people. I understand that, Martinez said. But they may be our only hope, Danar continued. The Council has voted. We give you full authority to coordinate our defense. 4 weeks passed in a blur of activity. The Nexus Prime system transformed into a defensive fortress under Martinez's guidance. Civilian ships formed into battle groups. Mining vessels became weapon platforms. Council engineers worked day and night to implement Lieutenant Foster's engine weapon design. Martinez stood on the bridge of the Defiant, looking at the tactical display. Colored dots showed the positions of thousands of modified council ships arranged in defensive layers around the planet. "Not perfect," he said to Lieutenant Wilson, "but better than I expected." "The council species learn quickly," Wilson agreed. "They lack combat instincts, but they understand patterns and systems very well." Fleet Commander Jor-El entered the bridge. The past weeks had changed him. His silver skin seemed darker and his posture was stiffer, more alert. "Captain Martinez, our long-range scouts report the Vexcar fleet has changed course. They will arrive in 2 days, not 5 as we predicted." Martinez nodded calmly, though his mind raced with calculations. "They must have detected our preparations. They want to attack before we're fully ready." "Are we ready enough?" Jor-El asked. "We'll have to be," Martinez replied. That evening, Martinez addressed the combined fleet commanders from the Defiance Communication Center. Hundreds of alien faces watched on screens as he explained the final defensive plan. "The Vexcar expect us to run, not fight," Martinez said. "Their first attack will be their most vulnerable moment, when they think victory is already certain. We must use that against them." The plan was risky but simple. The converted mining ships with their powerful lasers would form the outer defense ring. Behind them, the ships equipped with Foster's engine weapons would wait. The Defiant would coordinate from a central position, using its advanced sensors to direct the defense. On the morning of the expected attack, Martinez met with Dr. Reeves one last time. "The evacuation ships are ready," he told her. "You and the diplomatic team should leave with them." Reeves shook her head. "We're staying, Captain. This may not have been our original mission, but it's our mission now." "As you wish, Doctor. But remain on the backup command station. If the Defiant falls, someone needs to continue coordination." The Vexcar arrived exactly when predicted. Their ships dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the system. Over 3,000 vessels of various sizes. Their formation showed confidence, almost arrogance. They clearly did not expect serious resistance. "All units, hold positions," Martinez ordered over the fleet channel. "Wait for my command." The Vexcar fleet approached steadily. No communications, no demands, just silent menace. When they reached the position Martinez had selected, he gave the order. "Outer defense ring, engage." 2,000 converted mining ships activated their lasers simultaneously. The beams were not as powerful as military weapons, but there were thousands of them, all firing at once. Dozens of Vexcar ships took damage immediately. The Vexcar fleet paused, clearly surprised. Then they regrouped and pressed forward, returning fire with their own weapons. The mining vessels had minimal shielding. Hundreds were destroyed in the first exchange. "Second defensive layer, prepare engine weapons," Martinez ordered. "Target the largest Vexcar vessels." Lieutenant Foster's voice came over the comm from the engineering section. "Sir, the modified ships report ready, but we've never tested this weapon in actual combat." "No time like the present, Lieutenant," Martinez replied. The modified council ships turned their engines toward the Vexcar fleet. On Martinez's signal, they engaged their drives at maximum power, but with the propulsion systems reversed. The result was a massive energy discharge directed straight at the enemy. The effect exceeded their expectations. The first wave of energy struck the lead Vexcar ships, overloading their shields and melting through their hulls. 20 enemy capital ships were disabled or destroyed in seconds. For the first time, the Vexcar fleet hesitated. "Press the attack," Martinez ordered. "All ships, engage your assigned targets." The battle became chaotic. The council ships had the advantage of numbers and surprise, but the Vexcar had true warships with superior weapons. Both sides took heavy losses. On the Defiance Bridge, Martinez directed the battle like a conductor leading an orchestra. Lieutenant Baker, at sensors, called out enemy movements. Lieutenant Wilson coordinated the defensive formations. The council commanders followed Martinez's orders with growing confidence. 3 hours into the battle, the Vexcar changed tactics. A group of their largest ships broke through the defensive lines, heading straight for Nexus Prime. "They're going for the planet," Wilson reported. "Our defensive line is breaking. Martinez studied the tactical display. Redirect Group 7 and 10 to intercept, and move the Defiant to blocking position. Sir? Wilson questioned. The Defiant can't stop those ships alone. We don't need to stop them all. Just slow them down until reinforcements arrive. The Defiant moved to intercept the Vexcar attack group. For the first time in its existence, the human warship engaged in the purpose for which it was built. Its weapons were smaller than the alien vessels but far more advanced. Precision targeting struck enemy weak points while the Defiant's maneuverability kept it ahead of return fire. Council ships followed the Defiant's lead, learning from its tactics. The Vexcar advance slowed, then stopped. In the command center, Jor-El watched with amazement. One ship, their smallest warship, is holding back 5 enemy capital vessels. The tide turned when the Vexcar flagship moved forward to join the attack. It dwarfed the Defiant, nearly 3 times its size. Its weapons were crude but enormously powerful. The first hit against the Defiant overloaded its port shields. The second damaged its main weapons array. The third struck the engine section, sending the human ship spinning. On the bridge, Martinez picked himself up from the floor. Status report. Port weapons offline, Wilson called out. Engine power at 60%. Main reactor stable but shields failing. The Vexcar flagship moved in for the kill. Its massive front weapon began to glow as it prepared to fire again. Lieutenant Foster, are the modifications to our engine complete? Martinez asked. Yes, sir, but untested, Foster replied from engineering. Using our engine as a weapon will likely burn it out completely. We're out of options, Martinez said. On my mark. Full power to engines, reverse thrust directed at the Vexcar flagship. The Defiant turned to face the much larger enemy ship. As the Vexcar weapon reached full power, Martinez gave the order. The human ship's engines flared with blinding light. The energy discharge struck the Vexcar flagship directly in its charging weapon. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the enemy ship's front section exploded as its own weapon overloaded. The Vexcar flagship went dark, drifting powerless. Seeing their leader disabled, the remaining enemy ships began to retreat. In the Council command center, cheers erupted as the enemy fled. Council members who had never witnessed battle before watched in awe as the human tactics achieved what they had thought impossible. The Defiant, however, was badly damaged. Its engines were completely burned out, life support failing. Emergency systems kept the crew alive until Council rescue ships arrived. 1 week later, Martinez stood in the repaired Council chamber. The walls now displayed images of the battle. Council leader Donar presented Martinez with a small crystal sphere, the highest honor the Council could bestow. Captain Martinez and the crew of the Defiant have shown us something we had forgotten, Donar announced to the gathered representatives. That peace must sometimes be defended with strength. As Martinez accepted the award, he noticed a new addition to the chamber. Mounted on the wall behind the Council seats was a piece of scorched metal, a section of the Defiant's hull, damaged in battle but still intact. Under it, words in multiple languages. This is what humans call a warship.